Hello, viewers. Tonight, I'm going to talk some about Forspoken. About how it's being received, and its reception is awfully different to me because games like Assassin's Creed, God of War, different games, even games that are older than this, Heavenly Sword and many other such games, have been praised and given a great deal of adulation, and people have really liked those games. And this game, it's a narrative-heavy game. It has lots of action. It's very fast. There's a lot of activity in it. And yet it's being received in a very negative way. A lot of reviewers are giving it extremely negative reviews. And I've, after having experienced the dialogue and seen, the characters and their interactions and so forth, I don't really see what the problem is. I really don't. How can anyone explain to me how this story is not as compelling as Assassin's Creed? How the story and the narrative and the character interactions and the dialogue is somehow worse than a game such as The Witcher? Okay? Or, 1, 2, and 3. Alright, because people don't seem to like it when you compare, this is a PS5 next generation game. You can't compare it to games that were released earlier. That's what some people seem to think. But, if we don't have a standard to judge by, basically, how do we tell? We all know it's subjective. We basically all have different opinions about the characters, and basically, if we like them or if we don't like them. But pray tell, since there are so many people who are so very opinionated about this game, Forspoken, and those of us who like it are so wrong, according to some commentators, according to some people who are basically saying that there are people trying to defend the game and they're calling everyone who doesn't like the game racist and many other such things. A lot of statements are being taken out of context, honestly. But basically, the bad press for this game is overwhelming. And I look at streams, and it seems as though I see a lot of streams of people playing it. They're saying the gameplay is fun. I see people laughing at the dialogue. So I'm wondering, who am I supposed to believe? Because I look at streams, and it seems as though a lot of people playing the game on stream are having a lot of fun. But none of us are right. We shouldn't enjoy it. And if we do, we're wrong, according to some individuals. There's people who are just saying this game is objectively bad. I don't understand that when there's been so many games just like it that basically are narrative heavy, they're action games, they're open world games, they're adventure games. What exactly makes this different? I hear people saying, she should talk less. I'm wondering, how much should she talk? I heard the same thing about Dragon's Dogma. I remember early on, years ago, people used to say, Dragon's Dogma's terrible. The pawns talk too much. Now, Dragon's Dogma is a cult classic, and there's so many people saying, we love Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma is a unique game. It's so hard. It's dark fantasy. It's dark and bloody and grimy. It's like Dark Souls. You see, when Dark Souls became really popular, when it started to kick off, and when Elden Ring had basically become very popular, which was from the first day, people started to like Dragon's Dogma. When Dragon's Dogma first released, it received very lukewarm attention. Now everyone is very excited about Armored Core. Armored Core was... Most people did not like Armored Core. They were saying it was too hard. They didn't like it. Now there's entirely different points of view. Maybe the same thing will be the case for this game. However, to me, from what I've seen, it almost seems as though the bad opinions surrounding it are almost so uniform. They're unnatural. It's almost like it's the popular thing to do now, to basically despise Frey. And I'm talking about Frey as a character. And I'm wondering, how is she different from the character from The Last of Us 1 and 2? I mean, you had, Kratos. All these characters, they're so very likable. Kratos and other characters like that, and I don't know. I keep hearing people say, "Oh, her voice acting is terrible," and I'm wondering how so. Can any of these people do better? From what I've heard, she sounds quite good. Honestly, that's what I think. But I mean, I don't know what to say. I really don't. And I have my suspicions. People are saying this is woke garbage. How is it woke garbage? Or it has a female character, a female lead character. An Afro-American female lead character who's voiced by an Afro-British woman. I hear people such as Dylan in the Details, who I used to have a good deal of. I didn't necessarily respect Dylan in the Details. He's sort of a joker. He's not particularly an individual who I really expect to be very serious. But Dylan in the Details, he's watching the voice actor and he's saying some very disparaging things about her. And it seems, strangely enough, the only people I seem to see talking badly about her and about the voice acting are Euro-American people. The only people I find who seem to say, "Oh, she talks too much," are Euro-American people. I haven't found one Afro-American person who said she talks too much. Now, sure, I've seen Afro-American gamers say that different things about the game, but I haven't seen Afro-Americans say she talks too much or she's a bad voice actress. Quite the contrary. For the most part. Alright? They've said different things about the game, but I haven't. I've been watching streams for the last few days. I've been seeing so many Afro-American streamers who've said very positive things about her, and yet the only streamers I seem to find that say very negative things about the character she portrayed and her, and basically her voice acting, are basically all Euro-American individuals of Euro descent. I've seen all types of people basically having fun. I've seen Japanese people playing the game having fun. I've seen Russian people playing the game having fun. Alright? I've seen a lot of Afro-Americans having fun. I've seen Euro-Americans having fun with this game. Okay? So I've seen people from many different demographics, so to speak, having fun with this game. But it seems like the only people I found on the internet, on YouTube at least, who are criticizing her voice acting are Euro-Americans. I haven't, and the reason I say this is because I've seen my internet is kind of slow back here. But me and another user have a whole playlist of streams that we've been recording of people who enjoy the game, basically. I wonder why it won't come up. But we have a whole playlist. And we're basically collecting streams. We're basically collecting streams. That's what we're doing. And we found that a lot of people, they really enjoy the game. We've found very few people who really have very much, huge, glaring problems with it. Just about everyone we found is basically having fun. There's been some streams where they're basically hate playing. I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can sit down and play a game 4 hours straight and basically, and it's just like this review, Lady Killshane, just saying that the game is good, ignore the bad reviews. And look, she's an Afro-American woman, and she likes the game. It's just like I said. So there's a divide here. Sad to say, it's along racial lines. Am I saying that particular individuals are racist? No, I'm not saying particular individuals are racist. What I'm saying, there's a divide along racial lines. And if the internet back here, because I'm in a room where basically I can have some silence to record, but the internet, the connection back here is a lot worse than it is in the living room. Okay, now it's working. So me and Tara Grimface have created the Lovers of Forspoken. It's a playlist that you can find if you want to find people who actually enjoy the game. Wow! Because, people like Mr. Matty Plays and Alana Pearson, a lot of these other folks who have some very harsh criticism of it, and they have basically very hardly anything to say any good thing to say about the game. It's not enjoyable. It's not enjoyable to watch a playthrough of someone complaining the whole time. Okay? And for a lot of those people, maybe they have less incentive to do it because basically a lot of them receive free review codes. But if you buy a game, you at least try to enjoy it. I see a lot of people complaining, and they don't even bother to speak to all of the characters. I remember RPGs like this. People are talking about, oh, this game is dated. The RPG mechanics are dated. It's so boring. It should be like Skyrim with Radiant AI. The NPC character should do everything automatically. Look, there were problems with Radiant AI in the Bethesda games. And they even changed that because it was so complex that basically NPCs would die. It was ridiculous. Okay, it was quite sophisticated. Not every game company does games like Bethesda. But you hear everything. You hear stuff from Elden Ring about how this game should be like Elden Ring. You hear stuff about how this game should be like Skyrim, and so many things. It's almost ridiculous. To this list, I've added about one video. She's added the rest. But nonetheless, it's very annoying. Alright? It's very annoying to deal with such things. But unfortunately, it's something that I have to deal with on a daily basis. As I look for reviews for this game and streams for this game, look, this woman is a woman of Asian descent. You have people of all races basically enjoying it, but I noticed something. And I say this because this is the first time we have an Afro-American female lead character. The first time. This is a rare thing in the history of RPG gaming because we don't often see this. We don't often see a whole list such as this. Or rather, not necessarily a list. We don't often see characters like this. We don't. We don't often see Afro-American protagonists. We don't see any Afro protagonists. You think of the last RPG you've played where you played as an Afro-American woman or an Afro woman, an individual of Afro descent, a man or a woman. Please tell me if you can name the game. I have been going through these videos and just recognizing just how, and just even searching, just how many of these individuals are basically, they're Afro individuals. Okay? A lot of them are. And you wonder why there's so many. Because they like the character. They like the fact there's an Afro-American voice actress. They like the fact that this game is a bit more, they can associate with the main protagonist. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why you have so many people like Dylan in the Details who really don't like it. It doesn't, he doesn't like the game, and Dylan in the Details and Michael Does Life, who is another individual, they usually say very disparaging things about games anyhow, and they talk about how good the old Resident Evil games are, and I wonder, are those satanic Resident Evil games really so amazing and significant? How are they those games have their own problems. It's a very morbid culture. Nothing's supposed to be funny, nothing's supposed to be comedic. What's so bad with the dialogue? Should be, if it almost seems as though if things aren't doom and gloom, or if Afro-American gamers are having fun with their Afro-American female protagonists, there's no respect involved. It's almost as though, this is a bad character. And I'm thinking, yeah, and what's unique about this character? What's different about her dialogue? Why is she such a bad character? We even have Japanese streamers who are really enjoying this. Okay? We have Japanese streamers who are enjoying the character of Frey. And I'm saying this because she's not the only one, this individual. But it's just very surprising. And there have been people who've said there's some racism involved or some racial bias involved. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to generalize and say that everyone who despises Frey is a racist. But what I will say is that it seems as though a lot of Afro-Americans really like Frey. I'm just saying that based on, this granddaddy Trey, this Dante Gaming. So the people who are saying this game sucks and this game is terrible and that the people who like this game are stupid SJW soy boys or soy girls or whatever weird alternative right slang that is used today are wrong, and all of the cool crowd or whoever, and I don't even know if these people are even considered cool in terms of a sort of popular consensus, but it's very, and they do have a lot of influence on media because of, to some degree, but apparently not as much as they think, because a lot of people are playing the game and enjoying it. People from Japan. This woman is from Russia. Look, this woman's from Russia. She's enjoying the game. Red Shelk. She really likes it. She's having fun with it, okay? You have people talking about this game like it's the worst thing ever. So I'm just going to say, if you want to find people who really like this game, go to Lovers of Forspoken. Lovers of Forspoken is a playlist that has you can watch streams and videos from people who actually like the game. I'm going to be contributing to this playlist, and we're going to make sure this playlist is filled up with basically very entertaining live streams and videos that aren't entirely just gloom and doom about this game. Like, it's just so awful. Oh, it's woke garbage. And it's funny, how is it woke garbage? They can't explain. The only thing that I can think is woke is the fact that the only thing that I can think is particularly different about this character is that she's an Afro-American woman from New York. People are making some of the most racist jokes in Griffin Gaming's chat. And his moderators are also basically being racist. I don't know if you know about Griffin Gaming. But Griffin Gaming, this channel right here, he had a stream about it. He said, "What's up, gamers? Is Forspoken as bad? Is Forspoken garbage, woke garbage? And is it as bad as the reviews say? We're doing it live." So here we go into this chat. He's given moderation privileges to Yan Ye. Alright? And I played the video back. You can see it's not on live. So we're not at the time when these comments were made in the chat section. But I did screenshot it. I don't play videos because I respect copyright. As for Geo, since it's gameplay, maybe I won't be in trouble. But I'm not going to play his commentary video. I mean, Geo's video had no commentary in it. And I see if I can just use that gameplay footage that he had made. But nevertheless, Yan Ye says because that's what happens when these types of people cause destruction in big cities. Now, he's talking about when Sepal is, and I hate to spoil things for you, I just simply say this, a city in the game was caught on fire, and they were connecting this to Frey because they said, oh, everywhere Frey goes, there's fires. Because if maybe you didn't watch the part of the game where Frey is in her abandoned apartment or some abandoned building, and her building catches on fire, her room catches on fire, and so she has to escape. And so Yan Ye, a YouTube user who's been giving a wrench or moderation privileges by Griffin Gaming. Griffin Gaming gives his wrenches to people who act racist in his chat. He gives privileges. You will be a moderator for acting racist in his chat. So Yan Ye says because that's what happens when these type of people, and he's talking about Frey and the fact she's an Afro-American, cause destruction in big cities. Now, not every Afro-American goes out and riots and burns down buildings. Not every Afro-American person participates or approves of riots. So he's generalizing the whole race, and he's making a connection to this character that has nothing to do with her. But this is because, in my opinion, you can be the judge, that seems very racist to me. A lot of people, especially individuals who are very sensitive about the word racism, they don't like it if you openly call someone racist. I'm simply going to say this. I'm going to be very pertinent. It's very racist in my opinion. And I'm going to continue to say that because that's very specific. They can know that it's in my opinion, it's very racist. But I'm recording it so that you all can see. People were saying, hey, a lot of these reviewers, a lot of these people don't like the game are actually racist. And whether you agree with that or not, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I mean, it wasn't as though that was necessarily being said, but people were saying there's some racism involved in reviewing this game and people who don't like it. And there is some truth to that statement because we can see it right here in the chat of Griffin Gaming chat. This is from his channel. This was a stream he had. Okay. So we have another person with a blue wrench, FBI. He was given a wrench by Griffin Gaming. Okay? And FBI says, and he misspells George Floyd. He says, who is there? George Floyd? And Yan Ye responds, he says, nah, he already took the fentanyl. This has nothing to do with the game, but you see, this is Griffin Gaming. He has 200,000. He has 222,000 subscribers. He had 348 subscribers watching this video at that time. And this was the behavior of his moderators. He gave these people wrenches. He allowed these people to moderate. I'm just recording it. I've already given my opinion. I think it's racist. That's exactly what I think. Now, Griffin Gaming has been in some hot contention with individuals such as Quinn Quantum TV and a lot of other Afro-American YouTubers. And there has been talk about his disposition and some of the opinions that he holds and some of his behavior, but this speaks for itself. I'm not saying anything about him personally because he was, for the most part, he didn't really say, he was talking about different things. The chat, however, and he gave these people moderation privileges, they were saying they were basically talking about stereotypes, arguably racist stereotypes the whole time. That's what they were doing in his chat. Now we go over here and we see, one second. Alright, I just wanted to check and see if everything was recording well. But that's fine. They're talking about how fat the woman is, alright? Which, sure, okay, fat jokes, sure. But that's not why I'm here, because they made a particular type of statement. They made a particular type of statement that was very specific, and basically, you see, they had become very comfortable by this point, basically just throwing out stereotypes, okay, and just being, saying all types of racist things, in my opinion. And basically, he says, she's eating too much fried chicken and watermelons. And you see, for those of you who don't know, many Afro-Americans, that's a real stereotype that is used against Afro-Americans. Oh, Afro-Americans like fried chicken and watermelons. But you see, and you can be the judge for yourself. I'm showing it to you so you can see what goes on in Griffin Gaming's chat, what he approves of and what he allows basically, these are the people who are managing the chat, who are moderating the chat. I'm not taking any action except recording it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying anything about Griffin Gaming or even Yon Yer. Any of these people, they have free speech, but that won't stop me from screenshotting it and basically recording it for posterity. This is going to be on the internet. They don't need to care. But basically, I'm just taking records for my own personal satisfaction. That's exactly what I'm doing. So, if this woman wasn't an Afro-American character and they hadn't been making racial jokes about her throughout the whole stream, how many of you actually think that they would be saying that this fat woman was eating fried chicken and watermelons to get that fat? No, they're saying it because there's an Afro-American involved, and they've basically been making racial jokes about different stereotypes the whole time. But it's just something that I'm noting. So I go, this is his channel. He's Griffin Gaming allowed him to be a moderator. So, I just wanted to look at that. I just wanted to look at that because it happened. I mean, and you have advertisements there. That's on Opera. If you saw any, advertisements below. This is Opera. I mean, so many advertisements on Opera. Goodness, it's so ridiculous. But what can you do with, YouTube doesn't seem to really display well on my Opera browser. But yes, I just want to talk about some of that. Because a lot of people, they're comparing this to different games. And I think honestly, in my opinion, the comparisons are unfair. There's a lot of people enjoying this game. If you want to see people enjoy this game, please come here. A lot of Afro-Americans seem to think it's a good thing since you have an Afro-American female character. She has a good voice actress. You can have any opinion you want about the script or the voice acting, what have you. But at least, I think, develop your own opinion. Please develop your own opinion that is basically your own. A lot of folks, they're just devising opinion based on what these very spurious, dubious individuals such as Dylan in the Details have to say. Okay? I mean, he's watching this woman being interviewed. He's saying some of the most nonsensical stuff about her, and I don't understand it. What do you have against this woman? I have some notions myself, but because I can't understand why. But hey, but Dylan in the details, he's not. I haven't looked at his chat, but I've looked at Griffin Gaming's chat, and people in his chat were saying she was a pretty woman. But it's just, I think people are being too negative about this stuff. I really do. Honestly. So this is the playlist. It's called Lovers of Forspoken. I mean, it's going to grow. It's going to get bigger. Alright? I wonder if I can find that I'll probably put a link down too. And the reason I say this is because it's just interesting. It's just interesting about how biased all of this is. Yeah, Lovers of Forspoken. You can find Lovers of Forspoken right here. Right here. And it has 35 videos. Right now, there's 35 videos. It's a whole playlist. And I don't think anyone will watch all of these in one setting, but I mean, you can pick and choose. But it's just, to me, I think a playlist like this is interesting because all you see is negativity. And it's just as though, a lot of these people, it's just like, if you go to the YouTube search bar and you type in something like YouTube stream, Forspoken stream, and let's say you want to find most recent videos, because I'm getting tired of people hating on this Afro-American female character, because I can understand criticism, but the criticism is sometimes it gets personal, because it's just almost as though, okay, tell us about Kratos, tell us about Geralt from Witcher 3 and how his voice acting was and how his script was. Apparently, Witcher 3 and all of these other games are supposedly the best top tier writing in the world, and Forspoken is just the bottom of the barrel. And you can't have comedy in games, apparently. Everything has to be dark and dour, like it's Dark Souls 3 or something, like it's Elden Ring. What is this? It's a joke. It's a narrative-heavy game. What do people expect? But hey, it's just like I said. Look for recent reviews. It's just like this person says, bad graphics. And yet, a lot of these people were praising Elden Ring. How many people are saying that Elden Ring had bad graphics? Just about everyone who said. And why are you even playing this game? You don't like it. But sure, whatever. But anyhow, all these people are talking about bad graphics for Forspoken. How many of the same individuals said that Elden Ring had bad graphics? Elden Ring was a game that released on PS5, and it still had issues. The PC optimization had issues. So what's the difference? Honestly. But I know a lot of these people aren't fair. A lot of them have a love affair with Elden Ring and Hogwarts Legacy. Here's another. It's like Forspoken. It's a game about magic, but one is receiving praise basically, and the other one is not being praised. But I have my own ideas about all of this. I really do. But it's just like I've said. I've seen so many naysayers. Oh, this is a bad game. I see so many people like Lady Kilshane. She likes it. So many other individuals say, and I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I don't put much value upon video games anymore. But I notice trends in media. I know when things are sort of tilted in a different direction. When you see trends and you see that you have one game that has one particular difference that all the other games have. You name the games. Please, And I just want you, the viewer, to do a little test. Name the games that you know that are basically basic, decent adventure games, open world games, RPG games with a Afro-American female lead. I just want you to do that. Please take the time and just name that. Just name as many games as you can think of with an Afro-American female main character. Please do it. Afro-American female protagonist who is voiced by an Afro woman, Afro-British woman. Please do it. If you can do that, list in the comment section how many games you can think of offhand. Don't cheat. Don't look at the wiki. Don't look at Wikipedia. Just do it offhand. Just do it in your mind. Just take a guess. Take some time to think, and however many you can think of, please do write down how many you can think of that have Afro-American female characters basically as the main character, as the protagonist. And the reason I say this is because it's not something that we see, and there's a reason a lot of these viewers, of these streamers, of these gamers, who are playing this game, are Afro-American and really enjoy it because they don't see many Afro-American female, characters in video games. Okay, so to me, there's an obvious difference here, and it's one of the main things I wanted to show you was this, these screenshots from Griffin Gaming stream, basically highlighting the fact that, hey, for the people who are saying, there's no racism involved in the critique of this game and some of the vitriol that's being directed towards it. Well, I found some directly in Griffin Gaming's chat and moderation. Not just his chat, but the people who moderate his chat. Basically being racist, in my opinion. And you can be the judge for yourself. I showed you the screenshots. Okay, you can be the judge for yourself. And I remember when Elden Ring came out, it had all types of problems, and it still has problems. Elden Ring, input lag. Input delay. Okay? People are talking about how the input delay was worse than Dark Souls 3. People are talking about how the enemies were reading inputs. Okay? But it's very interesting. Very interesting. So, what can I say? That I was going to look at some of the input reading, but the internet back here in this room is not so good. I just wanted to record and basically talk about the new playlist that I've made. Well, I didn't make it. Another user made it. But I am adding videos to it as well. So that user and me will be adding videos to it. But anyhow, this has been interesting. But yeah, I've said what I had to say. I've showed you what I found in Griffin Gaming chat, and that his moderators are basically you can be the judge for yourself about how he chooses moderators. I'm not doing anything against Griffin Gaming. I'm just basically recording things. I have that right. So, may you be blessed, and farewell, viewers.